Combat sports fans, welcome to Strong Style, Impact Media's weekly dive into the world of professional wrestling and mixed martial arts. I am your host, Jeremy the Impact York. Welcome to the show. Lots I want to get into, just lots and lots I want to get into, including we are going to talk some UFC. We are going to talk some WWE and NXT, some TNA, and we'll start it off with bare knuckle. But before we get into that, I want to tell you guys that if you want to follow the show, you go to impact underscore media underscore on YouTube. That is our main channel that has everything but our hockey show, which is on its own channel, Board Check. But impact underscore media underscore will find all of our shows, including Strong Style and overall great content. So, and also, if you want to follow this guy, so you can follow along all the many adventures that we do have, then you can do so by going to at the Impact 99, and you will find me on all those social media channels. So I'm going to start with bare knuckle. I told you guys there is a bare knuckle FC event that is BF or BKFC. Got it twisted. 69 is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, at basically in Duluth at the Gas South Arena, Gas South District over there, and that is going to be on Friday, December the 6th. Still working on at what capacity we are covering this, but I promise you, we're going to be on top of this one. This is going to be so fun. We look forward to upping our coverage of BKFC. We hear you guys. I'll follow along with it anyway. But the fact that you guys want to hear more about it means we're going to talk more about it. So let's talk more about it. I've previewed part of the card already. I'm going to preview the next 4 fights. And don't forget, we are in talks of having, I'll be honest, one of the 8 fighters I'm about to talk about will potentially be on this show in the next week. Potentially, we're working on it. Let's start. Let's start with the heavyweight battle of Joe Ray, who took on Paul Show earlier in the year. Joe Ray is taking on Dexter Carthon. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ruthless Joe Ray has he's interesting because the thing is he the one? Do we have it on here? Yeah, he has the worst. I don't call it luck. 'Cause I don't believe in luck. He has the worst string of events in that he's had so many fights canceled over the years. And he can really conserve energy and he can really throw the power. I think that will definitely help him in the bare knuckle world. Big guy. Like I said, he fought last in Manassas, Virginia, which is his backyard, and was able to get the win there. But he's got a tall nut to crack in Dexter Carthon. Dexter may not have fought bare knuckle yet, but he has a 2-2 MMA record. They call him Bolo, and he loves to strike. Almost all of his MMA fights have ended in a TKO or a KO. The other one was decision, and he loves Muay Thai. So man, he can just really throw on top of really throwing, and it's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be fun seeing these two go at it. Joe Ray has the advantage as far as bare knuckle, but Carthon is, I think since he's fought more recently, we will see how that one goes. I'm not going to give my pick till closer to it, but anytime the heavyweights are going to throw bombs like this, it's a must watch, absolute must watch. Up next, we get Justin Street, who is 1-1. He will be facing Nathan Rivera. We'll talk about Rivera in a second. Justin the Nightmare Street. is out of Michigan. He big time striker as well. Um, Good for him that his losses in MMA were either decision or submission. Two things that really don't happen. Submission for sure really don't happen in bare knuckle. So he's going to be able to just swing those hammers and continue to go. He is facing Nathan the Reaper Vera, who is 2-0. He's an American top team guy. Uh, big Georgia boy. Big Georgia boy. A couple Georgia people on this card that I think you're gonna have some good, really good performances like this. And Rivera, I think he's got a welding degree. He's just one of those blue collar. He doesn't like punching a clock, but when he punches the clock, bring your lunchbox because it's going to be a long day. That's going to be a fun fight. That is in the featherweight division. 2-0 Rivera against 1-1 Justin Street. Then we get to the women in straw weight division. We are going to get, I believe she's from Georgia as well. Emma Murray has never fought bare knuckle before, but she's been on the amateur mixed martial arts scene. She is got a tall task in facing two fight veterans from South Africa, Crystal Van Vyk. We will talk about her in a second. Murray, pretty new to the fight game, hasn't fought a lot, made her debut in 2022, but she's a tough cookie to crumble. We'll put it that way. In that you're going to have to bring your A game because she's not going to just wither in the storm. She's not going to back down. She's going to just keep fighting and pushing forward. And then we get over to Crystal Van Vyk. They call her Crystal the Lovely. She is 1-1 as she beat Christina Chris and lost to Sarah Shell earlier this year. Fights out of South Africa. I believe she trains out of the Carolinas. Man, she loves to just stand there and brawl. Now she will move around. She's not a statue. And likes to put family first, which I appreciate. Trains for their family as well. That's never a bad thing. Man, she's big into Muay Thai, even though you only need your fist for bare knuckle. And I believe that as well rounded as she is going to want to end this one early against the less experienced Emma Murray. And the last fight I want to talk about is Cole Farrell, who I believe he's out of Georgia as well. That's cool. We got a bunch of Atlanta, Georgia people there. A lot of Georgia. He was 11-1 in mixed martial arts. Won a title in American Freestyle Karate. Majority of his wins were by submission, which is interesting, but none of them ever went the distance. So he likes to get in and get out because he gets paid by the fight, not by the round, not by the minute. Loves to throw punches and bunches. Dropped his Cody Steve a couple times before getting the victory in his last bare knuckle fight. And once again, another big. It's amazing that all these Georgia people are very family and God first, and it's hard not to admire things like that. So, who is Cole Farrell going to face? Well, he's going to face Justin Watson. Justin Watson was in mixed martial arts. He had 3 bouts, a little bit. Let's see. No, yeah, he was a pro for a little while. He's currently 0-2 as a bare knuckle fighter. I don't think it's that he hasn't got in a rhythm yet. I think he's just went up against some top-notch opponents in D'Amico Labone and Michael Larimore, who is in the main event, I'm pretty sure. he's from North Carolina, so it's good to get a lot of local fighters in on this one here. And just like most of his fights, this one is definitely not going to go the distance. So remember, Bare Knuckle FC Friday, December 6th at the arena up in Duluth, home of the Gladiators, home of the Swarm. Tickets are on sale now, I believe. I've already gotten some press releases on that. You should be able to start finding tickets. Hope to see you there. Like I said, we are working on what capacity we're going to cover this one, and look for hopefully sometime next week or the week after, because we're 2 weeks out of the show, that we're going to have at least one of these fighters on this show to talk about all the great stuff. Because it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's talk some UFC. Very disappointed. Stipe Miocic did not knock John Jones out. Instead, Jones did that to Stipe. Jones dominated. Looks like he wants to do everything but fight Tom Aspinall. That sounds about like John Jones. Still one of the best fighters out there by far, but we'll see what Stipe does after this. Like I said, missed that one. Good for John Jones. One of the best fighters. Doesn't mean I have to like him. Not the world's biggest fan, and let's be honest, he's not going to do an interview with me, so I don't have to worry about kissing up to him. And even if you do, he'll do like he did to TNT and just go, "Nah, I'm good." And that's unfortunately how he is. And I've stood within 5 feet of him. That's just how he is. Like to stir up controversy. It is what it is. Once again, congrats, John Jones. Charles Oliveira with the big unanimous decision over Michael Chandler. It was a good fight. I told you guys, Michael Chandler's a good fighter, but I took Charles Oliveira. What surprised me? Not that Bo Nickel won over Paul Craig, but that this thing went the distance. Paul Craig made sure that Bo Nickel was not going to end this fight, and it goes all the way unanimous decision before Bo Nickel ends up with the win of this one. I'm impressed, Paul Craig, and that says something because I was already impressed with your skills, and Bo Nickel now knows when you up a level into the Paul Craig world and higher, then you're going to have to bring it even more. You want to end these because somebody like him can give you fits. I told you to take Vivian Araujo. She won by unanimous decision over Karine Silva. Mauricio Rufe got the unanimous decision over James Lontup. Told you guys to take Ruffy. Ageless Jim Miller, great submission. About halfway into round number one, put Damon Jackson out. Marcin Tibura with the doctor stoppage on Yolanda Denise. And Eduardo Mura. Eduardo Mura gets the unanimous decision win over Veronica Hardy. Great win. Thought Veronica was going to pull that one out, and Eduardo did more than Veronica, so she was able to get the win. Now, we go to UFC Fight Night. This one is this the Apex again? We're back in the Apex? No. We're in the Galaxy Arena at Cotai Marcial, or Macau. It's going to be fun. I did not know that Fight Nights were going to go this far. This one is going to be this weekend, and we're going to get Peter Yan at a minus 320 versus Davison Figueiredo at a plus 250. Peter Yan's a great fighter. Davison Figueiredo is going to bring it. I'm going to say Peter Yan. Take the favorite in the bantamweight main event. I think Peter Yan's just going to put it on Davison enough to where this might go distance. I don't know if either one of these finish the other, but it's going to be a really good main event. We get to see Yan Xiaonan at a minus 195 against Tabitha Ricci at a plus 165. I'll be honest, give me Tabitha. I think this one's really close. I think Yan is still a fantastic fighter. This is no shot at her whatsoever, but I think Tabitha is going to be able to pull this one off. Song Kanan is going to face Muslim Solikov. Song's a good fighter, but Solikov is an assassin. So I will I'll take Muslim Solikov at a minus 180 at the favorite. Take him in that one. Uh, is it Wang Kong? I think it's Wang Kong. Going to take Gabriela Fernandez. Kong is a minus 950 favorite. Ouch. Against she's 6-0 against the 9-3 Fernandez, who is a plus 550. Don't stay away from this one if you're going to bet, because Kong is more than likely going to win, and they're telling you this. ESPN Plus, I think, is going to face, or is going to have all of this. And finally, the last of the main card, Volkan Ozdemir is going to face Carlos Ulberg. Ulberg is the minus 245 favorite. Volkan is plus 200. Take the Swiss superstar. Take Volkan Ozdemir. I very much think that Ozdemir is going to find a way to win this one. There was another fight. Which one is it? There's an, is it? Um, was it Kiro Tahota? That was it. Versus Donghan Choi. This is a minus 110 both directions. And this is a title fight for the flyweight. I think it's because neither one has the belt. It's the title fight. And boy, this can be fun. When is this one happening? We know it's happening Saturday. The prelims are going to start at 3 a.m. on Saturday. Might be watching the replay. And at 6 a.m. is when the main card will be. That's going to be a lot of fun. And man, I love those international ones, but I'm probably not going to catch that one live. I will be honest with you guys. I'll probably catch the replay a few hours after that. Our AEW coverage this week, for those of you tuning in for that, tune in to myself and Clay just previewed Full Gear. That should drop right before this show does. Go check out all the stuff we said about AEW. We had some good stuff out there. Trust me, this Full Gear is going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I can't wait to talk more about it later. TNA this week, they're gearing up for their pay-per-view coming up in 2 weeks. I think it's on the 29th, so it's going to be not this weekend, but next weekend, and we'll talk a little more about it then. But the storyline between Nick Nemeth and involves JBL, and Eddie Edwards has found himself in the middle of it, and Joe Hendry's found himself in the middle of it. I like it. I think at some point Joe Hendry is going to be the world champion, and I think that's when JBL is going to stick his nose in there even more. There's some cross promotion going on with him, and we can't quite figure it out yet. Me and Clay even talked about on the AEW show. I don't know what it is yet, but I think the end game is going to be really fantastic. Alicia Edwards finding her way in between Moxie Slamovich and Jordan Grace. I don't have a problem with that because Alicia can work. I don't have a problem if she's champion, or any of the sort. I have not watched this week's show, so I couldn't tell you. But Masha is the champ moving forward for a little while. She could go on a run like Jordan Grace did, where she goes through a lot of the division, and it's believable. Or if Alicia wants to take a run with the belt, that's believable too, because she's got Tasha Steelz as backup, and it's a believable storyline. She legit could win. The news that Josh Alexander may be taking some time away, or whatever he's about to do, makes a lot of sense, because there's no DQ match between Steve Macklin and Josh Alexander. Macklin needs to win because he needs to be back up in the heavyweight title picture. And if Alexander's on his way out or is going to take some time, then it makes perfect sense for him to not win this one. But I'm not a Josh Alexander fan. I tell you guys that a lot. I don't know. He's just not my cup of tea. He's a good performer. He's a good wrestler, good athlete. I have no problems against him. Just he's not one that I will regularly cheer for. Big Steve Macklin fan. But Alexander and Macklin is one of the better feuds they've had this year, and I'm glad that it kind of encompassed more than just one show. And looks like Frank Kazarian and Mike Santana are also going to go at it on this pay per view. I think you can make Mike Santana a world heavyweight contender in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Keep him on the path he is of rifling through people, and I think Mike Santana is just that good that he could definitely do those sorts of things. All right, let's go to we're going to NXT. Let's go to NXT. We got to see Vakor and Julia beat Jakara Jackson last Legend. Here's my point once again. When Lash and Jakara lost that 4-way tag team title match, I told you that all three of those teams would not be contenders anymore because if they didn't win that other one, they weren't going to against Cargill and Belair. And I hate it because Jakara and Lash are a good tandem, but at some point they're going to split them, and we'll see what happens with either one of them. Of course, Vakor and Julia are going to win, even though they're not a tag team. Of course, they beat an established tag team. That's the WWE way. But Vakor and Julia are really, really good. In a qualifier match, Sol Ruka defeated Cora Jade. I was very thrown back by this one. I thought Cora Jade, who just returned into a main event spot, would have beaten Sol Ruka, but Sol Ruka is still the one they're wanting to jetpack to the top at the moment, and Cora Jade took the fall. In another qualifier match, Cedric Alexander took on Wes Lee. Of course, Wes Lee was able to pick up the victory in that one, but Cedric is very underrated. A lot of people don't give Cedric Alexander the credit that he deserves, but he absolutely is fantastic. And him and Wes Lee matched up really good, but Wes Lee ends up with the win. Shawn Spears and Tony D'Angelo getting into a little riff. I like it because it's more about Brooks Jensen than it is about Spears, and that's kind of the role he's in right now as his mentor, and Jensen is the one who's going to benefit the most. Another qualifier match, Nikita Lyons beat Adriana Rizzo, and then Rizzo attacked her with a crowbar after. That's my girl. I had a girl, Rizzo. Nikita Lyons, big force. I would like to see her and Nia Jax because they are similar size. I'd like to see the two of them tangle. I think it'd be a really good matchup, and we haven't seen two people tangle like that in a long time in the women's division. Next qualifier match, Javon Evans defeated Lexis King. I think they don't know what to do with Lexis King. It was great to get to see him a couple months back, last month at the Deep South Wrestling Show here in Atlanta, and I want to see more from Lexis King, but I want to see what they're going to do with it. And for right now, they don't seem to know what they're doing. They don't seem to know what they're going to do with him. Lexis King is a all-world talent, so we'll see what they do. But Javon Evans, who still needs to button it up a little, but he's fun, he's flashy. He gets the win. He's going to move on. And then lastly, Kalani Jordan got her rematch against Fallon Henley for the belt. And of course, JC and crew were down there to help out, and Fallon retained. So maybe Kalani will move on to qualify for this multi-person match or move on into something else. Fallon as a champ is something different, at least. Kalani did a great job with the North American Championship starting it out. Now it can bounce back between different people. You want your first person to be super solid. And, well, that's pretty much what it's been. We'll get into Raw. Priest versus Gunther coming up. It's going to be a really good battle. Had Ludwig Kaiser in there to kind of intercept Priest is a good call. It's going to help that kid. That kid's going to do some big things down the road. Um, Damage Control picking up a win over the Pure Fusion Collective. Interesting. Dakota Kai in her return. Good to have her back. I think she balances out the tandem of Io Sky and Kari Sane. I think they work. And so we've got some trios that we can see some fun matches now. Just seems like they just trade back and forth. But Dakota Kai back and healthy is a good thing. At some point, it looks like we're going to split the New Day. I think they're going to make it to their anniversary of 10 years or whatever as a team, and then they're going to split them. Great. But the major storyline going in WWE right now is with Bloodline. I'm going to kind of mix Raw and SmackDown here. For the Bloodline, we know we have Solo, and we have Tama Tonga, and we have Tonga Loa, and we have Jacob Fatu. And then as of, two SmackDowns ago, or last SmackDown, we found out that Bronson Reed is their fifth guy. So you would think that would mean Seth Rollins is the fifth guy for the other squad that is Sami Zayn, Jay Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Roman Reigns. You would think Seth Rollins. I've heard rumors it could be CM Punk. I've heard rumors it could be Brock Lesnar. At this point, it could be Braun Breaker. Don't know yet. So I have to tune in and see who the other person's going to be there. It's going to be War Game style. There is not going to be a lot of room in there because those are all some big fellows. It's a good thing there's going to be 2 rings and all that because you're going to need it for all of that mass of people moving around. In a tournament match, Bayley defeated Candice LeRae, the Poison Pixie, and B-Fab. I like the B-Fab's getting to wrestle a little more. I think you can add more to the division than just coming out with the Street Profits. And I don't know how long the Street Profits have because it seems like they're wanting to split them, and both of them are frustrated with how they get booked anyway, and that Bobby Lashley basically got shown the door. So if you told me one or both of the Street Profits leave soon, I could see it. I could absolutely see it because you'd have to repackage them, and I'm not sure what you'd do with them. I do feel like LA Knight is going to lose his U.S. title soon. Even if he lost it back to Logan Paul, he's going to lose it to somebody. He's had a good run with it. I agree with Daniel from our last pay-per-view show that him making a run at the world title, him versus Cody, that's not a bad idea. Him versus Gunther, there's some other fun matchups you could get into, but LA Knight, I believe, should be dropping that belt pretty soon. And Tommaso Ciampa, going back to the ruthless aggression Ciampa that he used to be. When we get Ciampa and Gargano versus the Motor City Machine Guns, and you get the indie Ciampa Gargano that will go to no end or to the end of the earth to win, that's going to be 4 guys that tear the house down. And Naomi got a chance at Nia Jax's title, and Nia Jax won that one. So kind of is what it is as far as those. WWE kind of building up into Survivor Series, which is coming up next weekend, I believe. Next weekend. We will talk more about that next week. And what else do we have? I know NXT has Deadline, I believe, is their next show, which is, I think, was this Tuesday on USA and everything. So we will see what all they got into with that. Of course, as I said, BKFC is December 6th, Friday, December 6th, up in Duluth at the Gas South District Arena. And UFC Fight Night Macau. John Bohovitz Peter Yan, rather, and Davison Figueredo. Make sure to tune in and watch all of those. We're going to tune in and watch all of those, but we have reached the end of the show. So, for everybody here at Impact Media, thanks for tuning in to another great edition of Strong Style. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses. Go watch fighting. Go watch wrestling.